Okay, today we are going to tell you all about what is happening in the Denver metro real estate market. We are covering what happened in March. We are in April, so we're able to look back and see what happened last month, which was March of 2024.
Yeah, let's jump into it. So I think the most significant number that we saw last month is the active listings jumped over 50 or almost 50%.
Yeah, inventory has been a historical problem here in Denver, and we were at a point where there had just been days of inventory in the past, which is insane. But now we are kind of trending towards more of a healthy market here. It's not healthy yet, but we're getting there. But the fact that we jumped 50% from over last year in amount of listings is blowing everybody's mind here.
Yes, it's over 7 weeks of inventory, and it is indicative of what's happening. I think that, or we believe that the consumer is realizing that it's time to sell and that there's some confusion in the market, pertaining to interest rates and that type of thing. And so I think people are just ready to make some moves, whether it's upsize, downsize, move out of state, whatever that may be.
Most definitely. And I think on the flip side of that, it's showing that buyers are a little trepid to get into this market.
True.
So even though there's more listings coming on, there's less buyers out there. So that's kind of what's correcting this market a bit and making it geared towards a little more healthy, because in the past it's been all buyers, no listings, and it's been crazy. But now it's balancing out a little bit. And with that, it's brought our average sale price here in Denver to just under $600,000. Last month we were at $591 as an average sales price, and that's up almost 5% from last year. So real estate's still a great investment. And on top of that, if you look at our market update from last month, so in February, the average price point was $575. So you've got about a $20,000,
Upswing.
$15,000, up $16,000 upswing
In a month.
in price in a month. So where else can you get that return on your money?
Yeah, exactly. And although the listings are up 50%, the closings are only down 10%. So there's still a 40% difference in, listings closed. So people are still buying 10% less than last year, but that's still a big number.
Yeah.
So that's positive.
It's still those, like we've said for the last several months, it's those buyers that have to buy, essentially, is what majority is what we're seeing. It's those people that have life changes, adding a family member, losing a family member, home situation changing, something like that.
Kids
So,
go to college and you're empty nester. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of people I've also noticed in our recent listings where people are moving out of state because of job opportunities in other places. And so if you're not in a position where you can keep the home and rent it, which would always be, desirable if you have the opportunity and the ability to do that, then you have to sell. And so, and then the days on the market, we're still looking at only 12 days average. Homes are on the market.
So they're going under contract quick. In fact, our pendings are the highest now that they've been since August of 2022. So in a year and a half, almost 2 years, we have more pendings now than we've had since then. So again, it's still moving. Things are moving. We just are starting to notice more inventory coming on the market.
Yeah, exactly.
And with that, we're also seeing that price corrections in that medium price point home are kind of disappearing. So that means that sellers, agents, everybody's getting a little more savvy with what their house really should be priced at in this market and what it's worth. And buyers are coming in and they're willing to pay that. So even though they're paying a little higher interest rate, they're willing to pay a fair price for a home. And so we're not seeing things sitting on the market and having those price corrections because they're being priced more appropriately at the beginning.
Yes, exactly. You're not shooting for the stars anymore,
right?
on your list price, which is smart. And that's our philosophy in every listing that we have. you have to do our research and see what else is selling in the neighborhood, and have that tough conversation sometimes with people that you have to be realistic, and if you want to sell the house.
Yeah, the market dictates what your house is worth. We don't dictate that. You don't dictate that. The market does.
Correct.
And like we've said so many times too, if you start too high, you're going to have a price reduction, and then you're probably going to end up closing for even less than that. So price smart to begin with. That way buyers come in, know you're being fair. Win-win for everybody. You get your house sold, they get their house bought, and things move right along.
Yeah. And let's talk about the elephant in the room, interest rates. So it doesn't look like there's going to be a cut in June as anticipated, or anytime in the near future. So if you're waiting for an interest rate cut, don't hold your breath. I really don't think that's going to be a possibility. Certainly not in June. Hopefully later in the year, because it is an election year, and so things can be a little more volatile. But inflation is still too high, and so they're trying to manage that with not doing rate cuts.
Right, and one of the things I think that we're hearing with these interest rates is that the idea behind the higher interest rate was going to help, or a falsity that we were hearing about this was that the interest rate was going to help bring prices back down to where they should be.
Right.
But I did find an interesting statistic. I wanted to read it to you based on that theory that really our home prices are a little higher than projected or what history says that they should be, but they're not crazy. So let me read this to you. So according to historical average price data, since 1971, they've been tracking this information. Today's prices should be right around $720,000 in the Denver market. So that's what they're looking at since 71. The increase is going up. It should be 720. And if you look at that as to where we are right now, our average price point is
$775,000, which is for single-family homes.
Right.
So the other average price that we mentioned earlier, the $591,
across the board.
Exactly, includes multifamily condos, townhouses.
Yes.
All
So
of
this
that.
is for single-family homes. So
Right.
again, what they had anticipated it being based on the trends and the real estate data would place it at 720,000, and we are at 775,000. So we're really not that far off from what that trend prediction shows or anticipated. And so when you kind of look at that with the interest rate theory, I don't know if that's really going to work. I don't see price points coming down. As we said, we're up almost 5% over last year.
Right.
$16,000 in the last month. And so, again, this just goes to show you that real estate, if you can get your feet wet in it, it's a good investment. If you're waiting for another year to buy because you think prices are going down, it's just not going to happen.
Yes, it's not proving that that's the case at all. And, it is scary, I think, for people to see what their mortgage payment will be when they saw it at 3 or 4 or 5% versus 7%. And we are still seeing concessions being made. So, if you need your interest rate bought down for a year or two, the seller will, in some circumstances, comply with that request because they understand and they want their house to sell and they want you to be comfortable, with your payment. And so
they know they're not going to sell it unless you are comfortable with that payment.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So there are some creative ways that Michelle and I have used several times in the past, and they're successful. And our preferred lenders are very creative as well. So we're a great resource for that. If you're feeling that anxiety and you're feeling that, like, oh my gosh, I don't know that I can swing that, just call us because we
can talk through it.
Absolutely. We don't want to ever say no to anybody because, again, rent is 100% interest. So who wants to pay that?
Yep. And it may not be right now, but it's not no. It's
never no.
It's
not
yet. Next month
Mm-hmm.
or next couple months.
Mm-hmm.
And where there's a will, there's a way. And we are definitely willing to kind of help you navigate that and find that out. So
yes, 100%.
So yeah.
What else? Anything? We got
I think that pretty much wraps.
So we talked about. We'll put this PDF in down below as an attachment in the YouTube. In the video itself.
Yeah, it helps me to look at things, so I'm
yes,
sure that way we'll have it down below.
So just for numbers recap, we have just over 5,700 active listings we had in March. Listing closed was just about 3,400. Days on the market was only 12, but 7.3 weeks of inventory. I think that's the big, like, whoa.
That's the big takeaway, I think,
Holy
for this
moly.
month, this last
Right.
month.
And the median sales price going up almost 5% year over year. That's a good indicator as well. Yep. So anyhow, okay, well, if you have any questions, I'm Cheryl Crown.
And I'm Michelle Wise.
And we're the Living in Denver, Colorado team here. And so we would love to help you in any way we can. You can call us, text us, email us. Give us suggestions. Please comment. Let us know what you think of this information. If you want something,
check out our other videos too.
Oh,
We have a
yes.
slew of videos about the market here in Denver, neighborhoods, cities, what it's like to live here.
Yeah.
So check them out and make sure you reach out if we can help you.
Yes, please do. And with that, have a great day.
See ya.
Share the love.